Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. This is my Star Atlas Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 39. If you're interested in any of the articles or videos I mentioned, please do go to intergalacticherald.com and look for News Recap 88, where I'll have links to everything there. So just a couple quick things. Again, I'm always looking for podcast guests. So if you're interested in coming on and talking about the weekend review, please let me know. Please go to intergalacticherald.com, find the contact page, and just send me a message there. Also want to mention just two Star Atlas projects I'm slowly working on. First is intergalacticgear.com. So that's going to hopefully be a Star Atlas merch store. I'm going to try to push really hard in December to see if I can get that moving forward. I'm presently doing a bunch of the behind the scenes business structure and accounts and bank accounts and tax ID numbers and all that good stuff. Second project I'm working on is called the Intergalactic Coalition. This is a non-guild guild, basically just a community for Star Atlas gamers who are not interested in joining a guild. It is a paid community, so it does cost some money to join, or that's my goal, I should say. But right now I'm just having an interest survey on the website, so intergalacticcoalition.com. You can fill that out if you're interested. That'll give me, I'm trying to set up kind of like a founding or founders group or something like that. So let's get into the bulk of the content. Overall, this past week, kind of another quiet week from the Star Atlas team coming off of the break point, but at least not sure, again, how many Star Atlas team members are left, but I know some of them are definitely based in the United States. So this past week was the U.S. Thanksgiving extravaganza, Black Friday, all those things. So not too surprising not to hear too much from the team. One thing that happened, I think last week it was out, and I kind of maybe missed it. I don't know. Yeah, just sometimes things don't register. But anyways, some people had posted on Twitter that Michael Wagner, the CEO, had done an interview, and it looks like it occurred either before or after his presentation at Breakpoint, only because he was still wearing the hoodie from the AFIA Guild. I forget the name of the interviewer, but again, if you check out on the News Recap number 88, there'll be a link to it. So it was a more of a traditional sit down. I mean, it seemed like they were in person in a room or something like that. So even though the interviewer was off screen, but Michael Wagner gave some great feedback. I can't remember if it was like a 30-minute interview, but anyways, I thought it was a great interview. Again, I always have to say he's definitely a very great spokesperson for the project and the company and things like that. So considering all the other crazy news in the tech world or AI with Board ousting and stuff like that, it's definitely great to have someone of his caliber as a CEO. So a couple of comments I picked away from that interview that I thought was interesting. One was, and again, came out in another one in this idea of kind of how Star Atlas is structured. And I thought it was really interesting because he mentioned kind of that different people involved in Star Atlas could be producers or consumers, which again kind of goes back to, I think, how he's structuring as an economy. And I think this is how economists talk. There's producers in economy, there's a consumer in the economy. We talk all about, definitely with Black Friday, I mean, consumer holiday for buying things. But it was kind of interesting to think about how within the Star Atlas economy, there will be people who are just producing things to be traded, or I guess not traded. Well, I guess it could be traded or sold through the marketplace to people who just want to consume. And again, I'm glad to keep hearing this kind of different way of thinking, because again, it's not just a game where we just pay our $60, buy the game, play it, have fun, and that's it. But that they're really setting up these systems, these economies, these marketplaces, again, all these different terms. Anyways, it was, again, just hearing those terms and thinking about it, it was like, again, assuming, I mean, I guess as an aside, you can think about the Sage Labs right now. It's all about producing. I mean, you go in, you get the things, and then you put them on the marketplace, and apparently people are buying them. So there are consumers. It's not a one-sided thing, though, again, I'm not really found the Sage Labs as it currently is that engaging. But again, I'll give complete credit. It's happening. So anyways, I thought just using those terms, producers and consumers, was really interesting. The other thing he mentioned was hiring employees, and again, in the context of Star Atlas, the game, not the game development studio. And again, I think this relates to this terms we keep hearing, the scholarship model or the lending model. And I don't know, maybe just using the word employee kind of continues to refine this whole concept to me, that again, you're going to maybe hire someone, again, maybe through lending your ship or whatever, to do something for you. And I know there's talk of outsourcing, and obviously there's a difference of economic situations. Potentially this is in, I'm not sure, do we call it third world, developing countries? But again, I mean, people with a different standard of living than, say, someone in a United States or European country. But again, if it's not a manipulative, it's not a taking advantage of situation, again, going back to the producers and consumers, hey, now there's employees. Anyways, all of this kind of is really starting to see how the foundations of this thing that is not a game continues to kind of keep being described. So I think that's cool. Because it's around the Breakpoint, and again at the Breakpoint presentation, the Metagravity thing. And so he spoke a little bit about the single instance gaming. And again, just kind of rebuilding upon what was mentioned in the Breakpoint presentation. But again, starting to realize how other games that I always thought, oh, there's a lot of people, but you're not all in one place. So, if it was World of Warcraft and you're doing a quest, you're just doing it by yourself, or maybe you're doing... Anyways, so again, if everything can be pulled off, this kind of concept of single instance gaming, going back to where literally, maybe I'm on a planet mining, but yet I'm in the same exact instance, same exact state where someone on another planet's doing something else, and then everybody's back at the central space stations doing their thing. Again, this really speaks to this kind of not just open world, but truly a world, not just these arbitrary technical hurdles because of things. So again, it was cool hearing about that too. He also mentioned, and it's been brought before again, the benefits of using the blockchain is that an item can be accessed in any of their products. So whether it's the UE5 product, the Sage and future Sage versions, and again, whatever the mobile app thing, and it's the same thing. And the blockchain allows this to occur where other games... Anyways, and you have the ownership. So again, it was just really cool. He did mention again about the Builder program, which again, I'm really happy because I'm trying to be a part of that. And again, I just, finish up again where I started on this interview. Again, it really shows how Michael Wagner has a great passion for the company and the product, but he speaks well of it. He explains it well. I have to just, again, say that it's great we have someone like that kind of leading the project, and it really does instill some confidence, even if there's been negativity with funding and staff size and things like that. The vision really holds true. So this last weekend, Metaverse Nomads did their weekly Star Atlas live stream, and the title had something about Illuvian. I'm not following other Web3 or crypto games. Again, I picked Star Atlas a couple years ago, and when the, what do we call it, the bull run, whatever. Anyways, it was just the one when all the crypto projects were mainstream. But it felt like things I was interested in. I was learning crypto, but it was sci-fi. It was persistence, things like that. But anyways, and they Metaverse Nomads played a clip of how the Illuvian founders or leaders or whatever were really critical of Star Atlas, and I haven't followed the two, but I guess my only comment is, again, nobody seems to have produced anything. And again, all of these newer studios are not the Bungie and Activision and I don't even know who makes Call of Duty anymore. But anyways, I mean, none of these game development studios have built anything yet, really. So again, it's kind of like, what does it matter? But again, people are people. So this past week, the Atlas Brew occurred. They did a discussion kind of on Polis, and I guess this was much more of the traditional Atlas brews where they are doing, again, quote-unquote, theory crafting, which I'm not 100% sure what that is. I guess most of the Atlas brews recently turned more of replacements for the town hall, informational, what's going on, announcements, things like that. So it was interesting, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're doing it. Give the team credit for doing it on a regular basis on Wednesdays. So if you're interested in hearing a little more about Polis and some of the ideas, it's a great listen. I did listen to it. So the other thing that the Star Atlas team put out this past week was another interview with a team member. Again, I'm terrible at names, but that's only because I watch on a video. I don't need to remember people's names, but pretty sure he was the character art director. And so he was speaking a little bit about how the characters are being designed, a lot of the discussions about the skins and customization. So that was really cool. I do admit I unfortunately wasn't able to finish the video because something else came up, and I really wanted to get this podcast recorded, so I still have half of it to listen to. But the couple of things that did pop out in the first half, at least, was again the talk about how they are going to allow full customization of the characters, and they didn't want to get into specifics, but they're definitely talking about lots and lots of very granular control of the character customization. But again, the coolest thing, and it was brought up again, that the customization, say for a color or some feature, may be only allow because you have some resource that does exist within the game. So it's not the traditional model that games just sell you things and then you have it and that's it. That, these are actually built. And again, going back to kind of the producer consumer thing, that, theoretically somebody could just focus on creating designs and selling them, and then they either buy the resources to make the designs and then sell the designs, or maybe they harvest the resources themselves to design. And again, these kind of non-traditional gaming mechanics that have much more of an economic play loop is again really cool. And so I do continue to find all these things again. Oh, one thing that was mentioned, because again said on a video, that the next version of the showroom, which is where these skins, the player customization sounds like it's going to occur, it doesn't sound like it's a Sage thing, is definitely not coming out this year, because they talked about next year. So, and again, given that it's the end of November, December, traditional winter break, things like holidays, I guess it's not shocking that it won't come out this year, but sounds like, again, everybody's now focused to the next year. And then that was all that kind of news. It was really quiet on the content creator front too. A couple content creators I put in the news recap did their own recaps, so not a ton of things. So I'll just end up the kind of content section with just a couple strategy things I've been monitoring. So one of my final goals in Sage Labs was to craft a Max Hog. Fortunately, it still has, or at the last time I checked, it was still like over 70,000 available for redeeming. I'd been monitoring the price of SDUs, and it had been fluctuating, but then Atlas went up too, so that kind of factored into the cost. And I think maybe I've been monitoring for 2 weeks. I don't know. Anyways, I finally just, with all the Black Friday sales or whatever, I realized I'm arguing over my, price of a latte, $5 here or there. So I just bought SDUs and crafted it and put it in my inventory. So yay, I got a first and only vehicle, I guess. so that's cool. Again, I think I may have mentioned in the past, part of me is just being a collector, and I like having one of each of at least the smaller ships. Can't go too far. Though I guess a lot of people are correcting the covers for the graphic novel, but again, it just didn't appeal to me, even though I'm restarting a new comic book series in real life. So anyways, but I got my Max Hog, so I'm kind of done with Sage Labs. I took everything out. I'd finished my Never Alone Mission 2 stuff, so I got all that done and reviewed and approved. So I'm kind of on the sidelines now, just playing in Score. So that's sort of my update on my kind of gameplay and what I'm working on. However, I do have one cool thing, which is because of the Black Friday sales, I was able to finally get my video card for my PC. So I got a NVIDIA RTX 4070. So I went a little higher than I wanted, but I figured if I'm already spending X, a couple $100 more, and again, I'm justifying it as a Christmas present / birthday present too. My birthday's in January. So sometimes anyways, personal stuff. Anyway, so got a decent discount for Black Friday, and it arrived a day earlier than they said. But anyway, so I put it in my computer. Unfortunately, my computer is doing some weekend processes for my business, backups and things like that. So I don't want to crash it by firing up a game. But anyway, as soon as those backups are done, I'll give it a shot and see how the showroom works. And I mean, it's got to work. So I got 12 gigabytes of RAM compared to 6. So hopefully that's all fine. So I'm kind of excited maybe to do a little bit more in the showroom just to refresh my memory, figure out that photography mode, and maybe get my Zealy Quest done. And then, unfortunately, again, it does sound like the new version will come out. It would have been great if it would have arrived before the winter break. I could have done some stuff over that, but yeah, it's fine. They got, it. Whenever they said it might come out this year, that was a long time ago. So, anyway, so that's pretty much it. Again, quiet week all around, but again, we did have a U.S. holiday to factor into. So again, if you're interested in any of the things I mentioned, articles or videos, please go to intergalacticherald.com, look for the weekly news recap, and please do sign up. I've got a pretty decent amount of signups this last week. I want to thank some tweet retweets, and Beyond the Horizon did a call out. Actually, it was for the coalition, but anything that gets people on the websites, I have a pop-up, so it happens. Also, I took this podcast and put it on YouTube. I guess it was last week before. Yeah. So I got maybe some more viewers that way. So that's kind of cool too. And again, just on my 2 projects, again, if you're interested on the merch store, please go to intergalacticgear.com and fill out the merch survey. If you're interested in hanging out with some other Star Atlas gamers, again, I'm trying to get a community built that's a non-guild guild. Please go to intergalacticcoalition.com and fill out the interest survey there. And again, that's it. So thanks very much for listening, wherever you're getting this video. And again, I'm Matt with Intergalactic Herald. Have a great week ahead.